Hello, hi everyone. I am Kutlwana Selwane, aka Clapback Studies, and you guys are tuned into We Are Centurion TV, where we are all about educating, informing, and inspiring the people of Centurion about what is happening in and around the community. As you guys have seen in the previous parts of this series, we have homeschool teachers and moms with us, informing us about this homeschooling system and what we are supposed to know. They're going to be explaining the BELA Bill, which is going to be affecting every single student from the age of 5 to 15. Hello guys, can you please introduce this BELA Bill to us and explain it to us?
Okay, I'll give this. Rebecca, could you please do a short and sweet? What is the BELA Bill? I know there's a lot of history.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history, but explain short and sweet, how's it going to affect? Because people think it's a homeschooling only thing, and it's not a homeschooling only thing. If you're a parent, it's going to affect your child. Well, pretty much if they're between ages 5 and 15. The homeschoolers have just been a lot more informed and on it when it comes to involved. That's the word I'm looking for, involved in this whole process. And we also see it as a learning experience because our kids are involved in the legislative processes.
Yes.
They're learning what it is to become responsible citizens of this beautiful country of ours.
Yeah. I must start by telling a very funny story, and it's actually true. We had an early family Christmas this year because everybody was going in their own direction, so we did it on a day that's not Christmas. And my daughter and her boyfriend organized a game that we play, and I don't know what it's called, but it was lots of fun. You get a piece of paper and you've got to do something. And at one point, her boyfriend got this bit of paper and it said to him he had to do something that was really scary. So we're all sitting there and we're wondering now what he's going to do, and he goes, BELA Bill. We were finished the way we were laughing because this has consumed my family's life for the last 10 years. I became quite involved in this by accident because I didn't realize at first what a huge impact it would have. And what this is in a nutshell is that our government is making amendments to the Schools Act and to the Employment of Educators Act. So these are two acts that are already in existence, and they are being modified to keep up with the times and to fix things that need fixing, change things that need changing. There isn't a very, very large amount of changes for homeschooling. There is, but there isn't, so I'll explain that. But the homeschoolers became very involved, mainly because of something called, well, we call it Clause 35. It's almost like a swear word for us. So basically what that means is the government is using that clause to solidify the enforcement of very specific regulations of homeschooling. Now, we all agree it does need to be regulated. That's not a problem. But the method and the kind of regulation that we are seeing is such that it's really going to limit the way in which we are able to homeschool. So we spoke about the logistics and the approaches. All those things will become very difficult to implement. So if your children need very specialized things that you want to offer them, you can't really, because you will have this letter of the law that is going to dictate to you on how to do it. Now, there will be recourse for this. You can go to court and stuff. It's not a law yet, but it will probably be a law. And I think the big takeaway I would like people to have from this is that this is becoming law, and in the process of making laws, people can actually participate. So the government's going to be holding public hearings, and that we still have an opportunity to write in to Parliament to actually tell them, you know, these clauses in the law is not exactly what we like, and why, and how it's going to impact our lives. And then the parliamentary committee sit and discuss it, debate it, and modify it according to, you know, how it's going to work for the sector. So this process is still open, and it would be really, really nice if more people got involved, whether you're homeschooling or not, because it's going to affect everybody who's in government schools or homeschooling. Public schooling to a small extent, but not really, because public schools or independent schools can make up a lot of their own rules, but they are still subject to some of the basics. So it's good for everybody to just know what it's about.
What does it stand for again? Basic education?
Basic Education Laws Amendment. So it's the amendment of the Basic Education Laws, and they have laws plural because it's the the Basic Education Law in terms of the Employment of Educators Act, and the Basic Education Law in terms of the South African Schools Act. So the South African Schools Act is actually the overriding guideline for us, and it's not a bad act. It's just there's things in there that's very old and outdated that need changing, but we don't like some of the changes.
But like you've always heard, that's the thing, is download the document, read it for yourself, understand what it's about, and discuss it among yourselves, and then make your comment on it with written submissions and by going to the hearings when it's available in your area.
Yes.
Do you want to do a quick run through for us just with the clauses that will affect?
I put this together. I attended the Mpumalanga hearings when they had it on last year. They're going to in February. I think it's February. They're starting the next lot. They're kind of running it concurrently in all the provinces, so it's going to happen quickly. And I think by March this will probably, think about then, be finalised.
So take your kids and go speech.
Yeah.
Great homeschool outing.
It is. A lot of people did that last year.
Yeah, take a picnic basket.
So the big things to know is that the National Council of Provinces, which is the upper house in Parliament, are sitting with the bill at the moment. The process is that it goes from the Department of Education, which is the arm of government that drafted the bill. They send it to Parliament. It was with the first committee, then it's with the second committee now, and from there the second committee sends it to the president for him to sign. Once he signed it, it's law. Once it's law, we're kind of stuck with it, and if we don't like something, we literally have to take the government to court, which is not ideal because that's too much PT and it's going to be very expensive. So to prevent that, we need to speak up now to speak to them. And I've got a list of clauses here. I'm just going to rattle off all the clauses. So those people who want to look at specifics to see what they can do, look at these clauses. I've got clause 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 33, 35, 39, 41, 42, and 50. They each speak to something specific. Some is to do with finances, some is to do with assessment, some is to do with homeschooling, compulsory school age, all that sort of little changes. But for the homeschooling purpose, clause 35 is pivotal for us. What this does, it sets parameters for homeschooling that are undefined. They have not been researched, and they've not been pertinently discussed with the relevant stakeholders and role players of our sector. Now, the idea is each sector needs to have government engagement, so we can say this is how we live. We don't really want to be dictated to too much, but we do want to be regulated in the sense that we don't want someone to be able to take our homeschooling status and pretend they're homeschooling, but they're doing other stuff, and then it gives us a bad rep. So regulation's a good thing for us, and it's a good thing, from the point of view of the government.
Because in the end, we all want to protect our kids, right? We want to do what's best good people want to protect their kids, and they want to do what's best for their children.
But this clause actually puts our homeschool community at risk of abuse of power by the HOD, because too much power in one person's hand doesn't allow for any diversification. And this is where we have this issue. We don't really worry about what Parliament has to say about it, because they are not implementing these laws. These laws are going to be implemented by the basic, the Department of Basic Education. And unfortunately, the track record is such that each province and each department sort of make things up as they go along, depending on how they think it should be done. Maybe it's a training issue, maybe communication between officials and parents. We're not sure, but there's just too much discrepancies. So the law is not clear enough to protect us from those discrepancies, and that is one of the big things. It's way too vague. So that could become an issue. And it's important to note that as homeschoolers, we aren't legal experts, and we have to really muddle our way through this. So we have to have that opportunity to speak to government, and they do really need to almost come down to our level to hear what we're saying, because this stuff is complex. It's taken us, me, years really, to just get to grips with what this document is about and what it means for the future of our children. Little things like in clause 2, section 3(1) of the SASA Act is being changed, and it provides that the school attendance is now compulsory from grade R and no longer grade 1. And essentially what that does is just make it a year earlier for the children. And we as homeschoolers don't have an issue with that, but we do have an issue with what if they implement that in a way that doesn't work with homeschooling. We do understand that it's good for the children of South Africa, but we're not sure how it's going to be implemented. So the parents really need to go and read through all of this and start commenting, because they can. It's as simple as going online. I use the Dear South Africa website mainly because it's the one platform that's linked to Parliament. So Parliament can't ever say they didn't hear from you. So if it's a fantastic forum. It's legitimate. It gets to Parliament, and they will hear what we have to say. I don't know how much time we've got to speak about more, but I think that's the basics of the BELA Bill.
Download the thing, print it out, go through it with a highlighter, and go and see what affects you, and then write to government in a kind and open-hearted way, because I do think that we want to be heard. As parents, we want to be heard. We want to do what's best for our kids. And I do think that government also wants to do what's best for our kids. They do. You'll always have bad elements. But I do believe that everybody is looking out for the kids. There just needs to be communication. We need to be heard. They need to be heard. Like, we need to come together, take hands, be nice to each other, and
not speak past each other all the time.
Communicate. Like, truly communicate. It's like when you're taking a toddler that's throwing a temper tantrum, and you go down to their level and you just sit with them like, baby, let's just talk. Let's breathe. Let's calm down and let's just talk. That's what
we really need that as a community. In Centurion, we actually have a very large homeschooling community. The Joburg, Midrand, Centurion, Pretoria sort of strip is got such a high concentration of homeschoolers that we are the second largest group in the country. The biggest group, I think, is in the Cape. But we are a lot of people here, and we homeschool, and this is going to change the face of what we've been doing. So it's very important we engage with this process.
All right. Can I please get your final remarks, as this is the last part of this series? Perhaps you can tell people what the last things that they should know about homeschooling, and just your final words.
Okay. Am I going to go first? And then you? Okay.
Give me a chance to think.
So I just want to say, if you're choosing to homeschool, welcome on board. We are here, like, your people are here. Okay, we're here to help. The community is totally awesome. Don't trudge your way through the mud on your own. Reach out, right? Make friends, enjoy the journey, have grace with yourself, and we're learning with our kids. You're not the expert. You're not supposed to be the expert. You're learning right along with your kids. And that's the beauty of it. Enjoy the journey.
Ma'am Rebecca?
Pretty much the same. I can add to that to say that as a homeschooling parent, I have learned so much through this journey with my children, and I'm very sure I would not have learned the things that I have learned had I not homeschooled. And my teachers were my children. I know it sounds silly, but we choose to homeschool to give our children the best options we can find, and we end up becoming different people because we learn so much from them, because we can engage with them so much. So it does get difficult, but it's totally worth it.
100%. I have not looked back at all.
I'm sure it's a lot of work, but seeing it in the end, it really is worth it. All right. Thank you so much for your time and all the knowledge and information that you've given to our viewers, and to you that is sitting there. Thank you very much for choosing to watch this series. This is the end, and we want to thank you for your time, and we ask you to please do subscribe and like this video if you have enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more content that we will be giving out on the Talk of the Town, speaking on different topics that affect you as a person in Centurion and even in South Africa. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.